The URSA Mini packed a 4.6K punch in a relatively compact package, but not without imperfections, which is fine because now we have this, the URSA Mini Pro. What am I looking at today? Blackmagic URSA Mini Pro. Oh yes, and we're here at the South Bank Centre to video some skateboarding. Slight problem though. I don't know about their skateboarding skills, but they've forgotten their skateboard. Alright, off we go to film something else with the UMP, which has been blessed with some new buttons on its facade. So yes, it's changed. This bit is new, that's for sure. It's got a little black and white LCD screen, but this was actually smaller. It's a 4-inch screen, 1 inch smaller than its predecessor. Not a huge problem. Yeah, one thing worth noting is that the startup time is quicker than before. It's still not really quick, but let's count it. Let's count it in potatoes. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4 potato, 5 potato, 6 potato, 7 potato, 8 potato, 9 potato. It takes 9 potatoes to switch on, from flicking that switch to actually being on. 9 potatoes. They should actually put that on the spec sheet. But there is one thing about this. I mean, ergonomically, in terms of putting this on the shoulder, everything seems a little bit claustrophobic. I feel like this. The rather basic hand grip and extension arm can't be extended that far, but apart from that, in terms of usability, it's good, with the addition of useful buttons on the near side of the camera useful for ENG work. And this is really useful, it's got an HFR button, so you can flick between slow-mo, 50p, 25p, but it remembers, like if you set it to 24, it changes between 50 and 24. But if you set it to 25, it remembers that. 25, 50, 25, 50. Brilliant. Love that. But one of the big things with this update is the quick access to framing guides, zebra, peaking functions and false color. Anyway, let's film something. Why would Chinese tourists come to Chinatown though? It's like come to a not very authentic version of your hometown. I mean, imagine that if you go to China, yeah, as a British person, and you go to a British town, it'd be weird, isn't it? Sometimes I have to kind of like fumble my way to find the buttons because they do sometimes feel pretty similar, but you kind of get used to it after a while. Just if you remember the layout, and thankfully they put the ND filter dial on the front so you can't get that confused with this one. Yeah, so that's the built-in ND filters. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is clear, but it's good that now it has an IR filter, so you know, magenta, green casts, not a problem anymore. Well, only one way to find out. Here's a straight-up skin tone comparison test featuring a subject with skin between the URSA Mini with external ND and URSA Mini Pro with internal ND. So you've got a F1, F2 button, you can assign different things to it. These switches are pretty good, although they feel like some kind of 1980s hi-fi. They work. You just know where they are for ISO, shutter speed, and also white balance. White balance seems a bit, it doesn't seem you need to really push it. Whereas the shutter speed, it does change quite easily. 180, bam, there we are.
You guys want to see some footage from the Blackmagic? Well, here you go! The files look great, grades beautifully, skin colours look nice. You can shoot up to 120 FPS too in windowed mode, which is a little fiddly to set.
This thing only goes up to ISO 1600. Not that high. It's not abnormal, but it's not C300 Mark II. I'm kind of spoiled by that.
Also news to interchangeable mounts, you have EF, PL, B4 and even Nikon, oddly.
Wow, I mean, how many cameras do you need? Just look at that. She's vlogging. She can't decide which camera to vlog with. You know what? I think you should vlog with this one. This one is a much better camera. All you have to do is that. Yeah? It's a bit unfortunate that the screen doesn't flip all the way around. It kind of does that. You can kind of, no, you can't really do that. There we are.
That's so cute.
That's really actually what she just said. So that's what she said. Okay. Do you want to swap?
Yeah, sure.
Okay then. There we are.
Whoa, nice. How can I hold it?
There we are. Hold it under there. The simply can't hide. I mean, look at that. you can. I mean, it's technically possible to vlog with it. It doesn't autofocus like the C300 Mark II, but it's good for building up the muscles too. But you just got to love the Blackmagic colour science. It looks beautiful. One's graded. And that's a 1080 high speed. But it can shoot, of course, 4.6K. Raw, 16-bit. Have that, and then cook it later. That's a beautiful steak. Don't know what I'm talking about, but there you go.
Having an ability to shoot RAW is always a meaty plus. You get that extra information and thus more flexibility when handling that footage in post. Juicy. But look, if you don't want to shoot RAW, you have the option of ProRes or DNx HR.
This works pretty well as a shoulder-mounted camera, which is why they've got all these fancy new buttons. So you need that EVF. And then it works rather nicely.
However, the thing with the UMP is that it's not really about improvements in the files that you get out of it, but rather how you use it. It now has AES audio input and an option to add an external SSD, but let's face it, the big thing with this is mainly the buttons and the new dials. What irked a lot of people about the URSA Mini was how it was in terms of actual use, so it's good that Blackmagic have actually listened and made refinements with this model.
I mean, say that weight. And it's called a Mini. It's not exactly mini by a lot of people's standards. But for that image quality, in this size package, it kind of is. So there we are, that's the Blackmagic URSA Mini Pro. Just enough improvements to make this a really good camera. It's got big camera performance in a mini package. It just shows that Blackmagic design are fine listening. Probably.